Today is April the 4th, 2019. It's 5:15. I just want to do a short video on Joe Biden. Now, for years, I've been watching these videos on YouTube of him groping children as the vice president under Obama. One of the vice president's jobs is to swear in new members of the Senate. And there are plenty of YouTube videos out there of newly arriving senators being sworn in by Joe Biden, and they bring their children or their grandchildren with. And if you watch any of those videos, you watch them carefully, he slowly caresses some of these girls' faces. He'll grab them around the waist, and some of these girls try to pull away, and he pulls them a little closer. You need to watch this if you've never seen it. And what is important here is he hasn't officially decided to run for president yet, but there's I think a total right now of 4 women accusing him of inappropriate touching, not necessarily sexual, but breaching personal space, I may call it. But what has bothered me about hearing all this and seeing this, nobody is saying anything about the children being touched. There are tons of YouTube videos out there. Go and look it up. Creepy Uncle Joe Biden. YouTube is going to start removing these, so I suggest you do it quickly. I posted one of these on Facebook the other day, and it was removed. And it does not shock me. And if he decides to run for the Democrat ticket, for president, I promise you they are going to scrub the internet of these things. They are going to remove them as quickly as you can think of. I just do not understand why it's not being brought up. Even on Fox News, they're talking about him with the woman. Oh, look at this wayward hair. That's cool. They're talking about women and inappropriate, personal space violations more than anything else. But not a mention of him with the children. Now, there's plenty of video to see it. And it really, really disturbs me that it's not being talked about. Which leads me to believe this. Everybody knows it, that Biden is a creep. If you watch one of these videos, you could see who was at that time Senator Jeff Sessions, who was the Attorney General, who recently was fired by Trump. You can see Biden go to touch his granddaughter, and Jeff Sessions slaps his hand away, and Biden just kind of casually moves his hand back like nothing ever happened. Something is going on in Washington. Now, I never wanted to believe it. I've heard the stories about pedophile rings and all that stuff, and that they use this as a means of control against people. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true that they do this. That whatever powers that be that manipulate and change and politicians and stuff, maybe they do this sort of thing. And they use it as blackmail in case you don't behave. I mean, if you want to destroy somebody's life, you want to accuse them of being a child molester, being a pedophile. If you want to ruin somebody's life, even the accusation is enough to ruin your life forever. And it would not put it past me if the government wanted to really jack with you. If you are a huge problem in some aspect, they are going to put that shit on your computers. They're going to put that stuff on your phone. And they are going to frame you for that. Now, does that sound conspiratorial? Absolutely. But you know what? Do not put it past human beings to do stuff like this. Don't put it past governments to do stuff like this. Human beings are wicked and deceitful, and none are righteous. No, not one. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if some of this, if they really want to get rid of somebody, if somebody's a thorn in the government side in some aspect, that they're going to make you out to be a pedophile and ruin your life. But they're protecting Joe Biden, and they're protecting the system of Washington that surrounds Joe Biden. This is why they're not showing the child, him touching these children in inappropriate ways. It is really, really disturbing that not a single news media outlet will touch upon this. And like I said, not even Fox. And I like Fox. So there's a reason. Look, they have to be talking about it off camera. Right? I mean, they have to be. You know damn well they've seen these videos. It doesn't take much to find them. You know that they have seen these videos, but the producers or the directors or those who own the stations or those who pull all that determines the content of what they're going to cover, they are not going to touch this. And there is a reason behind it, because it opens a floodgate of anger to the American people that might just be so broad spectrum across the political spectrum, right down to local. Hollywood's, you've been hearing the stories for years out of Hollywood. Look at this recent thing with Michael Jackson. R. Kelly, there's like another good one. Come on. I mean, Michael Jackson's let's be honest, he was creepy. Little boys spending the night with him, sleeping in the same bed with him, and he's running around. Michael Jackson's running around telling her, but they're ignorant. I'd rather kill myself than hurt a child. And Barbara Streisand actually recently came out and said, well, if that's what Michael Jackson needed to get off. I mean, that's basically what she said. Don't think for a hot second that Hollywood is filled with these perverts. I mean, what is it? One child actor who publicly has said this stuff. One of the Coreys, and I can't remember. One of them committed suicide. I don't remember if it was Corey Haim or Corey Feldman. It was one of those two Coreys. The one that's alive, whatever that one, you could tell I really follow celebrities. But the one that's alive walks around talking about the pedophiles, the directors, the producers, being pimped out as a child to these guys. Roman Polanski, there's a good example. This guy sodomized a 13-year-old girl, got charged with it, ran over to France, and he's been sitting there since. And he is praised to this day by liberal Hollywood. Talking about what a wonderful human being is. 13-year-old girl. He was in his 30s, I believe, when he did this. So, take the blinders off. Think about what is going on, because there's something seriously going on. If they aren't willing to show the videos of Joe Biden just groping these little kids, and it's little girls for the most part. He's stroking their faces and putting their arms around their waist, and oh God, I mean, whether the incoming senators are aware that he's doing this or not, I don't know how they look at it now, because I'm sure they can look at those videos just like anybody else and see what he did. Are they going to say anything? Probably not, because it's part of the establishment. And I really, I hope Joe Biden wins. I hope wins. I hope he wins the nomination. I hope he runs. Because if that stuff does not come out during the an election process, if they aren't showing that with the little kids, shame on our system, and it's gone. We're lost. It will be interesting to see how it plays out. I know I'm interested to see how it plays out. There's no hope for our nation if this guy gets the nomination and there is no talk about this. There is no hope, no matter who gets elected. And I would suggest that everybody just check out, because and circle the wagons. And that's kind of crazy for me to say. I never thought I'd live to say that. But everything that you probably heard in the whispers and the conspiracies, maybe it's all true. If they don't show him doing this stuff to kids, it's probably all true. It's scary. It really is scary. That's what I have to say about Joe Biden. He is a creep. It doesn't take much to see that. There's also stories about him swimming naked and the Secret Service agents having to watch it, and some of them were females. So what kind of insanity is that? Now, are you going to hear about that on the mainstream media? Is Fox going to report on that? Probably not. It's just, this is not a good situation. But pay attention. Look at what's going on. Read behind the scenes, because there's more going on than we are led to believe.